despite the bad FPS and the interesting glitches and the wacky physics, Ark is a great game, and a lot of people agree with me on that. But in this video, gamers, I'm going to be talking about the devs and what they can do to improve the updates. I know it's a little bit of an interesting topic, and it might turn out to be a rant, so I don't want to offend any of the developers. So I do apologize in advance to any of the developers, anybody who actually finds this offensive. I'm not trying to make the fan offensive, I'm just trying to help the developers improve. So, as you gamers may know or may not know, Arc updates are huge. I mean, there are people who wait all night just to get the update and to get it first on YouTube or on whatever other platform it is, but mostly YouTube, I believe. So, because of this, people are, you could say, quote unquote, really competitive on who's the first, and they wait for long periods of time for an update that they're interested in and will hopefully get them a lot of views on YouTube or any other platform. But we're just going to stick with YouTube now. But there's a little bit of a problem with that, honestly. It's that despite the amazing updates that when they come out are quite fun to play, there's a lot of issues with when the update is coming out. And you gamers probably know this, and you too, Arc devs, is that when the update says it's coming out, let's say on the 12th, and it ends up coming out on the 15th, and then on the 15th it says it's coming out at 7, and then ends up coming out at 12, this is a little bit of a problem, honestly, and it's completely understandable, especially since how much work and how much time the Arc devs end up putting into their work, into the update, into Arc. And I completely understand. I mean, it's quite stressful to meet deadlines when you're not quite finished. But there is a way to fix this, and there's a way to, apprehend this issue. And for you gamers who look on the forums and whatnot, if you see it, it will say ETA 12 o'clock or ETA the 15th or whatever. And ETA stands for expected time of arrival. So what I would like to discuss and see if this is even possible is, instead of having expected time of arrival, have time of arrival. So this way people know when the update's coming out, and they don't have to wait all night. They don't have to, you could say, sit there waiting, twiddling their thumbs, waiting for this update that keeps being delayed. Now, I do understand, gamers and Arc devs alike, that this is a very difficult task to do. And I've never produced a game myself, and I can imagine that it's probably very difficult to do, especially when people expect updates and optimization updates and whatnot very often. But there is a way to fix this, and it's quite simple, really. It's similar to the Arc scheduled, and practically, not Arc scheduled, but YouTube scheduled, where you record a video, let's say on the 15th, and you set it that you want it to be uploaded automatically on the 20th. So that's 5 days of it being in the system, and then the second is the 20th, it gets uploaded. Now, to do that on Steam, I don't even know if that's even possible, but this is what can happen. And because, I mean, practically what a lot of people do is that they wait a long time for these updates. For example, Shredder and I, we wanted to record the update or patch 247, my apologies, and it said that it was going to come out, I believe, on the, it ended up coming out, on the 12th, but, well, 13th for me. But it was originally meant to come out on the 9th. And so Shredder and I waited, but nothing came out. So then I went to bed after waiting a long time, and then I woke up and I saw that it was being moved to the 11th before finally being moved to the 12th. But then when it was moved to the 12th, according to sources, aka some other gaming involved members, it kept being delayed hour by hour by hour by hour, and then eventually it came out. Now, great, yay, it came out, but it ended up coming out for Windows, and then it ended up coming supposedly an hour later for Mac. By that time, it was 7 o'clock in the morning. I was up from 4 a.m. to 7 on a school day, and school finishes at 5. So I got very little sleep that night, just saying. And I wasn't even able to play the update until I got home, because even though it said that it was going to be coming out an hour later for Macs and Linux, it ended up coming out an hour and a half. By that time, it was 8:30, and school starts at 8:30. So I had to be at school at 8 because that's what I do, and I missed the entire update. So I missed all the possibilities, and when I got on, people didn't want to really record or do anything with me due to the fact that they'd already done it. So that's just my experience, but it's probably the same for many other people, where they wait all night and a long time, and they just sit there just hoping for this update to come out, but it kept being delayed. Especially when, at least this happens to me, is that when it comes out about an hour or half an hour before I have to go do something else. For example, school or something personal. And that's really, really frustrating. And I know not everybody has a personal thing, and it's a person's fault for, sitting there all night. But it's also a little bit of the Arc devs' fault, a little bit. No offense to you, Arc devs. You guys make an amazing game and amazing updates. But there is a simple way to fix this. Let's say you want it out by the 12th, okay? And you know that it's going to be a big update, for example, procedurally generated Arc or whatever. That's supposedly supposed to come out in a few updates. And instead of delaying this procedurally generated Arc, for example, breeding 3, instead of, delaying that for constant updates, work on it. I mean, it's been in the list for about 3 months or so, or maybe 2 months, just sitting there saying it's going to come out in the next update, but then gets delayed. Same thing with dynamic bridges. Now, there's a simple way of doing this. Instead of having, let's say, one giant update, but then only half the things in that update come out, have that giant update, but instead of doing one every month, do one every 2 months. This way you've got 2 months to work on it. For example, I don't know exactly what your schedule is. And say that you want it out on the 13th. Say that it's going to come out on the 15th. This way you have, just in case, for whatever reason, you've got 2 extra days to work on it, fix it, patch it, whatever, to get it actually ready. So then the second it comes out, people can get to it, and they know, guaranteed, that that's the time of arrival, not expected time of arrival, but the time of arrival. Now this is very important, because a lot of people wait for this update, but then end up being constantly delayed, wasting our time and also a little bit of other people's time. Now, of course, that is our fault for sitting there and waiting for this update. But maybe the devs can help us out a little bit by saying, instead of expect time of arrival, again, say time of arrival. Now, I do understand that the Arc devs work long hours. They work very, very long hours, super long hours, correction. And that's completely understandable. But if you work so long hours, why don't you just do one final delay, which is the final release of the game, have that, I don't know, in a few months, instead of having such a short timeline, make a longer timeline. Because one thing that what it kind of feels like is that the Arc devs don't feel like people will be willing to wait for that long time. But they're mistaken. I mean, there are people who wait for the Arc to become 1.0. A lot of people wait for that. A lot of people. So why not just say, instead of saying it's going to come out in 1 month, come out in, say, 2 months. Have a big update every 2 months with everything you promise. And let's say, again, going back to the topic of, saying, if the update, you want it to come out on the 13th, but then you have it scheduled to the 15th, in those 2 days, you can start working, if there isn't that much work to do, you can start working on the next update. This way, you can spread it out a lot easier. Schedule your work. Now, it's kind of bizarre hearing it from me, scheduling your work, especially when I don't have a schedule really, and I have often missed the deadline. But I've missed the deadline and I've apologized for it, but then I get back on track and I meet the deadlines. But what it feels like that Arc devs do is that they say there's going to be a deadline, and then they miss it every single time and keep delaying. I mean, sure, with this scheduled, it's okay to delay 1 or 2 times, but to delay 4 days and then like 5 hours, that's a long time of delay, especially when you say the update's going to come out on the 11th. So people plan to beat that update on the 11th. So they've cleared the schedule or whatever. But then when the update says it's going to come out on Tuesday, which, may I remind you, is a work day and a school day, a lot of people cannot make that update. And it's kind of really unfair for them, especially when they see pictures of this new update and they're sitting at work or listening to a lecture or whatever, and they see people posting these amazing pictures of this new update, and you can't do it because you're doing something else. And of course, one disadvantage about the scheduled work or the scheduled upload is that if that was to happen, a pretty big issue is that more and more people would come on to that day, and everybody wants to have that download. And that's also more of a competition thing. Then it becomes more of a, okay, a lot of people are going to be coming for that update. So, we have to be prepared. So, the second it uploads, people want to get there as fast as possible. And that's a lot of competition, especially in the media world, such as YouTube. But that's something fun. Having so much competition like that is amazing, competing against some big YouTubers like Slipgator or something like that, or Thumbnail. You get this so much more adrenaline, but you kind of lose that adrenaline, especially when the update keeps getting delayed. So I feel like I've been ranting a little bit too much now. So I'm going to wrap up the video here, but just do remember, gamers and Arc devs alike, that I'm not here to offend anybody. I'm just here to give you a tip that will actually be kind of useful. I mean, Arc's an amazing game. I love it despite playing on a Mac. It's just an amazing game. But, have scheduled updates. I mean, take more time if you need it, but at least have the updates come out on time. I mean, if the final game ends up coming out in 2017, I don't care. I'm still going to be playing it, probably. So take as much time as you need to make a better product. Instead of having small little updates or one big update with half the things, have one large update, every 2 months or so with everything you promise for those 2 months. And I do understand that you're very busy. There's a lot of things you need to cover and all that, Comic-Con or PAX or whatever. Comic-Con maybe not, but take the time and make sure you do it well instead of getting it done, but with a lot of issues. So I hope you gamers and Arc devs understand this from a point of view as a YouTuber, or a small YouTube content creator, and as well as a gamer, a friend. And I hope you take this into consideration. So I do apologize if I've offended anyone in any way. And if you enjoyed this video, like that button. And if you didn't, let's have a discussion in the comment section below. I'm kind of interested in what you gamers and Arc devs think. Why you don't, is it a good idea, or why isn't it a good idea, whatever. Let's have a discussion in the comment section below, because I feel like it's going to be quite interesting. So I hope you gamers enjoyed, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe if you like my type of videos. Now this is kind of a one-time thing, so I do apologize for that. So I'll see you gamers in the very next video, and don't forget, gamers, to keep on gaming, and Arc devs, keep making such an amazing game.